How it started out, and it started about 6 months ago is when our issues kind of started. There's longer term to that, but I could sense she was kind of talking to somebody else, and I thought it was one of her friends because our biggest value has always been loyalty. I never thought it'd be anybody else.
Mm.
So I eventually did the stupid thing, which was, looking back, stupid. I'm like, all right, well, I've just got to look at the cell phone bill because I can't figure out what's going on. And it turned out to be one of her exes from 20 plus years ago.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
did the whole confrontation thing, and I was calm at the beginning. Um, and then, after sitting on it overnight, then the anger comes out and all that kind of the fear and all that stuff kind of hits you. Um, and didn't go like I thought it would go, like you would expect. So, that's when we started to really have our issues. And she doubled down, blamed me for everything. I mean, all the stuff that you think would normally happen, it did. So I was in pure reaction, high anxiety mode from probably, I don't know, late April to into June. And I was trying to do nice guy my way out of it and say, okay, well, if I agree to all this, and I was kind of done anyways. I'm like, I'm out of here. I filed. Um,
You filed. Wow. Okay.
and I was like, I'm going to go join my 50th birthday in Corpus Christi for a week and get back. I'm going to serve her. I'm done. And then she just shows up there. It's like that women's intuition of some sort. I thought we were done. Um, had a great couple of days, and it was like, all right, well, we've gone from stage zero down to what you guys would call it probably stage five almost. And because that's just part of it's just how she is. She goes very fast. And that big test came right between 4 and 5, and I failed miserably. I came home and it was like I had this great week, and then all of a sudden, I don't want to see you, blah 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 blah, and I lost it, um, and just let all that frustration came out of me. I'm like, I thought we were done. You came back, everything's great, and that's when I starting to kind of reach out and think about this stuff and started researching it. Because she moved out at that point, and when she left, I'm like, all right, go, don't care, get out. I didn't
Wow.
say get out, but I'm like,
Pretty
you can
much.
go, just go in
Yeah.
peace. I'll be here. And so then, um, a week later, we kind of talked, and she kind of opened up a little bit more about who this other guy was and what they'd gone through in the past, and that she really wanted out of it, but she was enjoying literally torturing him for all the things he had done. I'm like, well, that's eventually going to get you, but yeah, it's still kind of my thing. So we did some kind of dating, I would say, in July. Um, but it was her taking the lead with that. It was like, we're going to do this here, we're going to do that there. And I was kind of still in reaction mode at that point, going through anxiety, and I never felt anxiety in my life. Used to train
Yeah.
horses. You can't train horses and have anxiety. They'll
Wow.
feel it in a second.
Sure.
Um, so then it kind of got towards the end of July, and that's when I got into this. And a lot of it's just, started with just reading the stuff that's out there already. Um, and so then, and I just told her at that point, I said, spend time with me if you want to spend time. If you don't. I don't care, but let's not pretend, in between there. So then I started the program, I would say late July, early August. Had my onboarding with Liz. We connected well at that point. She kind of said, well, you got to be the shore, and, bring it on is literally what she said to say if she comes at you. And so Liz and I have connected well throughout this. Um, she's a very good coach, and I think it's natural for me um, to work with her. And part of that's, I think, without getting into details, I had a great father that worked very hard, but he wasn't a strong presence in the home because he was raised by his mother because his dad was off doing all his own stuff. And so in my home, I was literally raised like by my mother in a lot of ways. She was the one that made the decision. She was the one that was deciding what we were going to do, um, more than my dad was. My dad just he kind of separated the family between mom, you take care of all the kids and the emotional stuff. I'm just going to go to work. Because he couldn't really handle it on that side. He was an internalizer. And dad and I were close, but um, he wasn't. He'd hate me to say this, but he wasn't really a leader. He
Yeah.
led by example. He was kind. Everybody loved him. I mean, he could connect emotionally with all of my relatives like you wouldn't believe, especially the children. Um, but he didn't handle confrontation well. So, kind of getting parts of that dad and his expectations out of me, because compassion comes to me very normally. Listening came to me very normally, just by being raised by them. But, then I have to watch that at the same time because you kind of slip into that more feminine side of yourself under stress. Um, and so since then, we went through some different periods. And finally, she went off on a trip. And I'm just like, all right, I'm done with this kind of nonsense. I bought us tickets, took us to a show. Um, we started kind of dating again, spending time together again. And then I went to Bermuda for work for a week. And she had talked about potentially wanting to go with me, but she'd already had some other stuff planned. So I went and I just went no contact for the week and just really let her come to me. And that's what I've done throughout this whole process is just always let her come to me, not chasing her. Um, and really trying to just get back to where I've got that inner confidence I had when we were dating. Um,
Yes.
because I just happened to watch it yesterday, like that video yesterday you put up. It helped quite a bit, just kind of what I was trying to do, but couldn't verbalize it or think about it. That space between the emotion and the action. So, when anxiety hits you, well, what's this anxiety want from me?
Yeah.
Um, it's those little tweaks because I understood a lot of the principles that came out in
Hmm.
what you guys are talking about. Um, but I had never really fully applied it in a relationship context or that kind of getting back into stage 4 and that big test is coming. So like some of the words that coming out of her mouth and things of that nature were getting pretty nasty. Um, but I was kind of sat in my frame, stood where I was at. Um, and we got through the weekend, had a good time. Um, and then Sunday night, and I don't know if Liz has brought you up on date on all this stuff. Um, we were sitting on the couch and she was sleeping, so I was just watching a little bit of football, and she got a call, and the guy that she had been having the affair with just passed away. He had a heart attack or something of some nature. So she was, of course, devastated because they'd been together previously for 7 years. Um, but again, I just stayed there, was calm, was graceful. Um, and that's all I've been for the past 2 days. It's just been supportive. She's grieving, not reacting. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Now that he's gone, it was kind of a cheer, cheer. I won, but that's not really what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much
Um,
that you can, you can interpret through that, but I won't even go there unless you want to. But I'm more curious. So what I'm curious about right now, Mark, is like what I heard from the beginning is that you were the one that was ready to leave. So what caused you to actually reach out to for you to get help and change and grow? If that was the original motivation that you wanted to leave.
what really brought me in is I just was in such reaction mode. I lost confidence. I never felt like I get my feet underneath me
Uh,
and get to that common place where I could just kind of sit back and listen. I mean, it was like I felt like I was running this direction, running that direction. She just had
mm,
to go like a ping pong ball. Um, and the anxiety, and trying to do it on my own. I'm
yeah,
trained as a psychologist. I don't need to go to a psychologist. I
yeah,
don't need to do anything. The stupid shit, but you really look back on it. Um, that really motivated me to get into it, to get into then, okay, I've seen some signs of life here. It's my values to save this marriage. We're going to do that. And really committing myself to it versus kind of, oh, we'll kind of see, do I want her back or am I just, is it the financials? Is it all that kind of other stuff? And I
yeah,
wanted to dig down deep in because I knew what the core issue between us, which was, that emotional connection, because working and avoiding, um, that space between when we started dating between the action and the emotion, the action, it was way out here. But as we got into this, I think for me, it almost got like right here.
that's
Like,
what a compulsion. That's what a compulsion is.
so you're just like,
Hmm.
and it was whack. I mean, we don't have time. I could tell you the most. I mean, it's been 6 months of what the fuck, both in and out of this relationship and everything else, and every wacky thing, anything happened did happen. Um, so getting my feet underneath me and getting back into the things that I love. I lost a lot of that. I
Yeah,
do like to kind of live on the edge. We're training the horses, souping up jet skis, working on cars, going fishing, all
Right.
those things. I had just gotten completely wrapped up into work and providing. And everybody will tell you stereotypically, you can go down that checklist of, God, Mark's the one you're gonna want to be with. He's the great guy. He's all these things, but it
Yeah.
doesn't matter all those things. It's not, a resume that okay, here you go, the guy
Yeah.
you're gonna marry.
So at the end of the day, she doesn't have you when you're doing those things, right? She's having what you give her, and ultimately she wants you, the man that she fell in love with, right? Quality time, your attention, your all these things. So and that's such a I like kind of positioning it that way because that is the truth, right? She wants your best self. And let me see if I can just summarize and we'll build off from there. So she was having, the affair with the past boyfriend. It's always the past boyfriend or the boss. It's like one of those two every single time. And you were ready to leave. And then you were like, let's look at myself in the mirror. Let's take, like I'm dealing with anxiety. I want to like improve myself and see what's going on in your own words. And then where you're at now is she stopped seeing the guy and then he passed away. Um, but you're in stage 4 right now, you said with her. Would you say that?
I would say when she moved back in, we were probably more like stage 3. I mean, we'd moved beyond the dual mindset. We were, there was starting to be touch, and I could just sense that we're starting to get into 4, where we're spending a lot.
I think you muted. I think I accidentally muted you. My bad.
There we go.
There we
Now
go.
I'm
Sorry,
unmuted.
my
It said you
bad.
hosted, you muted me.
My bad. Press the wrong button.
So, that's where I
Um,
kind of felt we were. And you can kind of look at there was different elements all the way from 2 to 5. So I don't take those literally. I'm more of instead of thinking things as I am, it's either I'm in 2 or I'm in 3. It's like, oh, there's parts of 2 and there's parts of 3. And
mhm.
that and versus or kind of mentality. Um,
Yeah.
and I could say is, I'm starting to feel that, okay, I'm starting to fall back in love with this woman.
So
Um,
that's
and
beautiful.
connect.
Yeah.
And I'm even doing
She moved
like
out.
things I
You're
used to
saying.
go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say she moved out. I didn't know she moved out and then she moved back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that part. Okay, so okay. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure that's what happened. And you said you're starting to fall back in love with her again. Is that what you said?
You start to feel it like inside. You can start to feel that like, wow,
Is it
because
more of a change with the way she is toward you or the way you are with yourself? Or is it kind of a combo?
part of it's her change with me, and I think part of it's coming just from myself. And I can feel that inner energy, that inner confidence that I really just kind of lost over the years.
Mm.
She'd say, "You, Mark, you're the best person with words. You know all these things, blah 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 blah," and it was like just gone. Like I'm like, ugh. And I couldn't like, and there's some other stuff outside that we don't have time to go through
Sure,
work and
sure,
everything
sure.
else, where it just buries you into the ground. And um, work is always like, okay, let's find the most fucked up client, the most messed up situation, um, and let's drop Mark in there and see what happens. Um, and they let me
Wait,
be very free.
is God doing that to you, or like is that what life's doing to you, or
I think they do it for me to make me better, but I don't think I changed so many ways. I got a lot of feedback this year on changing my process. You were asking me who I am personality wise at work, highly goal oriented. You put the best thing and the worst thing to put in front of me is a goal, because I will drag that client um, across the finish line no matter what. We do system implementations. Um, oh yeah, because that's what she would do. She would say, "Let's do this," and I do that, and I would kill myself to go do it, um, and kind of take control. But I wasn't listening at the same time, which is ironic because trained as a psychologist, all these things that I do at work naturally, I wasn't doing at home.
mm,
It's like I am, you kind of start reading that young blood look of, those two kind of masculine guys. There's the one that always has to kind of be known as being the right guy and right thing, and then the kind of controlling asshole, I think is how he put it, in there. So, it's redeveloping those parts of myself and then being just better about it. I haven't, I could be really upset that she was upset about this guy dying and everything else, and I've just been calm and supportive, and it doesn't bother me at all. You know, see
yeah,
somebody in your
water off
house,
the duck's back, like you said. Yeah,
yeah, looking at somebody in your own house, just devastatingly crying because their affair partner died, and you're just like okay with it. Not like okay with it, but you can sit there and not get pissed off. And I feel for her. Um, that natural sort of empathy part of it. So I've been supportive, let her grieve, give her that space and that time, and not pushing anything. And then I think as we get towards the end of this week, we'll re-engage. We're not talking. We're not talking, but
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to give the space and then let her come to you. Um,
Right.
don't confront, and because she is pure emotion. Just that's how she lives life. Like the
Well,
emotions,
that's
just
that feminine masculine polarity that creates that attraction in the first place, right? There's the difficult
yeah.
parts of it, right, and then there's the beautiful parts of it. But Mark, I have a couple questions for you before I turn it over to you. Well, actually, one thing I want to say before those questions is, someone who just lost their friend, right? Maybe it's not so much the loss of like the potential she had with him, but there's all the memories she had with him, right? It's just that natural grieving process, and I think you can relate to that, given your friend passed away, and that's what she's going through.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say just if you had to pick one of the biggest win since coming into the program, what would that be? Like, oh my gosh, that was for sure the biggest win
Oh, when she came back
when she
after
came.
last time.
Yeah.
Because I really let go at that point. Um, I'm like, I'm gonna go to Bermuda. Call me, don't call me. Um,
Do you think that letting go was a direct, like her coming back was a direct response of you learning to let go? Like because you did that, she came back.
I think that was a big part of it, and then
Yeah.
showing the competence. And yeah, I think that was it. I just had to not try to control it. There was no reason behind it. It was just like, I'm gonna go, and I'm not gonna contact you. You can contact me. So we didn't talk to each other for a week, hardly. I didn't hear from her. She was coming back to watch the house while I was gone. And yeah, she called me that Wednesday night. She says, I'm coming home. So I'll see you when you get there.
Um, so well, I didn't even ask you this. How long ago did you join the program?
Um, we had an onboarding probably the first, I think like August 11th.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, 2 months ago, a little bit more, 2 months.